Hey, good morning, everybody. As you can see, it is Cinco de Mayo 2012, and you know, I wanted to talk about this for a little bit because I discovered that these DVDs recently were released over the past few years, actually over the past 4 to 5 years, actually 4 years, if you will. And it's kind of surprising that one, you'd think I would know about them, but I'll be one of the first people to know about them, but I didn't until recently. I mean, I had heard of them, and I thought that's impossible, but, I just didn't think they existed. And then, well, I knew they existed, I should say, because I saw them, but I didn't know what they were about. So that was the one thing that I wanted to check out, and because there were 5 DVDs released, actually not 5 DVDs, one, two volumes of 2 decades and one volume of a decade I grew up on. There were 2 volumes of the 60s, 2 volumes of the 70s, and one volume of the 80s. And I guess they did this, they being Warner Brothers, did this in the tradition of what they did with the Peanuts game, Charlie Brown and Peanuts. Basically what they did with the Peanuts game, in case you don't know, is they did volume after volume after volume by decade of all the cartoons, along with the specials. So my thought was, I didn't know. So my thought was when I saw what they had done now with this collection, I thought it was quite interesting. Now, the only downside to this collection, if you will, was according to some sources, the 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 decades that came afterwards, if you will, well, not afterwards, before the one I grew up in, didn't sell so well. Well, actually, I think the 70s sold more better than the 60s, if you will, but that's another story. And there's a reason I could probably think that that was the case. I think maybe there's a reason that was the case. You see, there's a lot of people now in my generation that grew up in the 80s and somewhat in the 70s that would rather obtain those collections because those are cartoons they grew up on. Those are cartoons they know of, they understand, they've watched as kids. And what I'm talking about is the Warner Brothers Saturday Morning Collection. Basically what this whole Saturday morning cartoons collection by decade is mostly Hanna-Barbera, and then later on with the 70s and the 80s, Ruby Spear cartoons as well, combined together for basically about 2.5 hours worth of cartoons, basically giving you the average 2.5 to 3 hour block of cartoons you were used to in Saturday mornings. The 60s and the 70s are kind of a mixture of Hanna-Barbera, and well, the 60s are kind of like Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers. 70s is the same. 70s is the same thing. Hanna-Barbera, Warner Brothers, and a bit of Ruby Spears. When they did the 80s, you had that mixture of Hanna-Barbera and Ruby Spears, because Hanna-Barbera and Ruby Spears, when it came to Saturday mornings, kind of ruled those airwaves. Now, recently, I did obtain through Netflix one of the, but I obtained the 80s volume. The only problem was the second disc of the 80s volume 1, disc 2, the second disc of volume 1, was quite damaged. I mean, it was barely playable. I mean, you could play some things on it, but it was barely playable. So the only one I have so far is volume 1. I mean, not volume 1, but disc 1. That's the only one I have so far. Now, on this one here, there's some shows that I know and recognize, but I can't really remember much of because I was a kid when they came out. There's Chuck Norris on there, Karate Commandos. There's Mr. T. I do remember watching that a little bit. There's a few others on there as well. I think there's Action. This is a show that I didn't even know of at all. I think it was done by Ruby Spears and Hanna-Barbera. I'm not really sure. It was Action Jack and Goldie. It was Goldie and Action Jack. That's all I can think of right now. And there were a few others on there, especially the Flintstone Kids as well. So you can't forget about them. That they were on there, so that was good. That was good. That was a good thing to have the Flintstone Kids on there, because that is a show I remember. Again, you know, like I said, it's Chuck Norris and Ed Grimley. I don't know why they put that one on there. But yeah, these are just shows that Hanna-Barbera and Ruby Spears, you know, created and brought to the forefront for us on Saturday mornings throughout the 80s. And there are some other shows that I knew of but I haven't seen in a while, like the Mushkis, or Mushkins, or Mushkins. And then you had the Biscuits on there. You have Dragon's Lair, you have Thunder the Barbarian, you have Cookie Koala. So you have I guess you could say you have a nice variety. And you know, when I look at this, folks, I say to myself, where has the time gone? I look at this, and when I see that, you know, studios like Hanna-Barbera, not Hanna-Barbera, but studios, companies like Warner Brothers are going to go out of the way and put these kind of cartoons now on DVD. To me, it's like, where has the time gone? Why haven't we? Why don't we have Saturday mornings like this anymore? You know, one of the questions I asked Zara Nizarak, Sean McLean, and I'm sorry if I didn't participate in the stick cam last night. I was tired. I mean, I just laid down here on my futon and I was out. But one of the things I asked asked him in a video was, you know, who do you think should give us, what company, you know, DVD, Blu-ray, but mostly DVD distributing company should give us a definitive, or at least attempt to try to give us a definitive, you know, Saturday morning collection. You know, and I said the two companies I think could be the lead runners for that would be Shout Factory and Mill Creek. Now, I know some people will say that Mill Creek is the bigger option, the better option, because look what they've done. I mean, they got, for about $10, you can get about 200 to 500 classic cartoons. On DVD. So, to me, that is a tremendous thing. I mean, I would love to see something like that happen. But I don't know if it's going to. I mean, again, I would love to see. Well, what I'm saying, I'm a little distracted. I heard something. I'm sorry about that. But what I'm saying is that I would love to see Mill Creek. Let me correct myself, y'all. What I'm trying to say is I would love to see Mill Creek or Shout Factory hell, even Good Times, but I don't think anybody wants to really give Good Times um, a chance. But I would like to see anyone, probably like I said, the most noted ones, Mill Creek and Shell Factory, to at least try to get us a definitive Saturday morning cartoon collection. And the reason I say that is because it would be something. I mean, again, you take a look at Mill Creek, they release, they have released a variety pack of 200 to 500 classic cartoons featuring got things like Popeye, characters like Popeye, featuring characters like Bugs Bunny, Casper, uh, Little Lulu, who, believe it or not, Betty Boop, the Three Stooges in cartoon form. They have all of that released in these variety packs of 200 to 500 cartoons for less than $10. So to me, to have a company like, say, Mill Creek do that for those kind of cartoons, I would like to see it. I would like to see them do it for perhaps, a Saturday morning definitive collection. The only way any of us get Saturday morning cartoons in sort of a collection format is either downloading the cartoons we know of that we saw on Saturday morning through torrents, saving them onto DVD-ROMs, and then using DVD recorders to put them in a variety pack with other Saturday morning cartoons we know of. Or there are those out there that have taken their Saturday morning VHS tapes, used the recorders or whatever conversion thing they have, mainly the DVD recorders, and have made variety packs, different collections, if you will, of the Saturday mornings, along with commercials. Hell, if you go to ioffer.com and type in Saturday morning cartoons, you'll find them. My thing is, as you can see the title up above, is where does Saturday morning go? Oh, where did our Saturday mornings go? And the thing is, to me, our Saturday mornings are still out there. It's just going to take a company, one company, independent or not, to say to themselves, you know what, there's a market for Saturday morning cartoons still, even if it's DVD distributed, let's do that. Let's do it. Let's release it onto DVD and see what happens. And I guarantee you, fans are going to like it. Fans are going to enjoy it because it's what they've been waiting for. It's something they have been wanting for years and years and years and years. I mean, there's a lot of independent cartoons out there. I mean, Mill Creek's they've got access to some Saturday morning cartoons as sets. All they have to do is say, okay, what would be the definitive collection for the 80s? What would be the definitive collection for the 70s? The definitive collection for the 90s? To them, what would be the definitive collection? What would be the collection fans would, just race to the store to buy or race onto Amazon and buy? What would be that collection? What would it be? To me, honestly, I think it would be a collection that it could span over 2 to 3 discs, maybe 4 discs, but each disc has to at least run about 3 hours long. That's the way I look at it. It's got to run at least 3 hours long, with the cartoons people knew of. I mean, that's what I think should be done. In all honesty, I think that's what needs to be done. I could be wrong, but I think that's what needs to be done. And you know what? Maybe someday down the road, I mean, we got this RNTV or RNTN syndicated thing, over-the-air channel, this retro over-the-air channel going. And, we got these other ones like Antenna and a few others, and they're doing their job. And they're doing their best to bring back Saturday mornings and stuff. But they need to start looking into really bringing in the Saturday mornings, because they bring in the Saturday mornings that we knew of in the 80s, somewhat in the 70s and 60s, like RNT has been advertising for the past few years, then that would really help. That would bring people to their channels, viewers, and ratings to their channels. But anyway, that's just what I have to say about the topic. Where did our Saturday mornings go? So comment down below, tell me what you think. I'll talk to you all later.